150 million kilometers from the Sun is a beautiful blue world. This heavenly sapphire is our home, third planet from the Sun, the first with a moon. Earth with its abundance of water. We have oceans. We have an atmosphere laden with water vapor. We have ice. And where there's no water, desert. But where there is, an abundance of life. As far as we know, Earth is the only planet with life. And it is life that makes Earth so special. In the ferment of the early solar system, Earth has neither life nor water. It's a molten rock. 4.5 billion years later, and the heaviest elements have sunk to the center. The inner core is solid iron and nickel. Around it is the molten outer core. Around that, the mantle. This structure is revealed by seismic waves. Primary waves in yellow travel right through the core. Secondary waves in blue are blocked. Earth's magnetic field and its wandering North Pole are caused by the solid inner core sloshing about in the molten outer core. If the poles reverse, as they've done before, it may be chaos for birds that navigate by magnetism. From below, hot magma pushes through the upper mantle to plume beneath the crust. The effect on the surface is continental drift. The evidence is beneath the waves, a mid-ocean ridge where molten rock is thrusting from the mantle to push apart the plates that carry the continents. Drain the oceans, and there are the plates, some pulling apart, others pushing together. Where plates meet, volcanoes spurt. Life is thought to have begun here, in ocean vents. On land, it evolves into green plants. They pump out oxygen. They convert our poisonous atmosphere into breathable air. As the toxic gases of our early atmosphere condense, rain starts to fall. Pools become lakes, lakes become oceans. Today they cover 70% of the planet. They lock up carbon dioxide, bequeathing us an atmosphere 1/5 oxygen, 4/5 nitrogen. And other forces are at work. By night, the stars seem to travel across the heavens, but it's an illusion. It's the effect of Earth spinning on its axis, a 24-hour rotation that gives us day and night. It's the same with the Sun. As its shadow creeps across a dial, the Sun isn't moving. It's the Earth. Day and night would always be the same length if the axis of our planet weren't tilted 23 degrees from the vertical. Add the complication of Earth's orbit around the Sun, and the seasons are explained. An orbit takes a year. Each day, the angle at which sunlight falls on Earth changes slightly. Over a season, it's a lot. Over 6 months, the change is greatest of all. From this position, it's winter in the northern hemisphere, summer in the south. Short, cool days in the north, long, hot days in the south. 6 months later, when Earth is at the other side of the Sun, it's summer in the northern hemisphere, winter in the south. Changing seasons mean changing sunsets. At the spring equinox in the northern hemisphere, sunset is due west. But by midsummer solstice, the sun comes from higher in the sky to set north of due west. At midwinter solstice, when the sun is lowest, it sets south of due west. And from satellite, here's the seasonal effect on ice cover. The oceans influence our climate. They pump currents around the globe, some hot, some cold. But fundamental to climate is the sun. At the equator, where it shines most directly, it causes hot, moist air to rise. This drives 3 great engines of air that circulate between the equator and the poles, air that rises and falls. It's the reason for our winds. If Earth didn't spin, they'd blow north and south. Since it does, they're slewed to the east or to the west. North Africa is cloudless because dry air is falling. To the north and south, moist air is rising. Flowing northeast across the Atlantic, the Gulf Stream carries warm Caribbean waters toward Europe. Lucky Europe, for the Gulf Stream delivers a mild oceanic climate to the northwestern seaboard. The weather is changeable but mild. Across the Atlantic, at the same latitude, winters are fierce. With no Gulf Stream, waterways freeze. When the ocean and the sun conspire, they create typhoons and hurricanes. These develop at sea from tropical storms, the sun heating vast quantities of moist air. The air spirals faster and faster, with winds over 300 kilometers an hour. And if it hits land, from South America, a red finger of warm water extends across the Pacific. It's the work of El Niño. El Niño is a climatic tantrum. It occurs when there's a change in the pattern of trade winds. To the west, the ocean cools. To the east, it warms. There is far less rain in the west, more in the east. But the curse of El Niño reaches around the world. It's stormier along the eastern Pacific, right up to California. Indonesia is drier, and there are fires. Australia has drought.